Welcome to SIS Stories. This is Miss Bacigalupo's English 10 class, storytelling under the theme, Enter, Return. Listen to Joao as he tells a story about falling in love of sorts.
I was never really into sports during my time in Brazil, especially soccer. As not being a soccer fan, I miss my friends made me, I would say, one of a kind. I've never found it amusing to watch a dozen of men running around with colored uniforms, passing a ball, aiming for the goal, but now that was all about to change. It was a Tuesday. School was canceled because the government thought soccer was more important than education, in which for me didn't make sense at all, but there were no classes, so I just went with it. I had woken up quite late for a weekday, and I checked my phone at night, as I usually do every morning, and I noticed I was invited to go to my friend's house, not so far from where I work. I instantly go down and tell my mom, who reacted with a somewhat rude manner, ranting about why would I watch a soccer game alongside my friends all of a sudden, since I was never into soccer at all. After taking a deep breath, I replied with a simple, I think it's going to be fun. We walk up to the car, and for some reason I'm starting to think ahead of what the game would be like. Would it be an easy win to our side? Easy win to their side perhaps? I wasn't sure how to feel about it. The whole ride was silent between me and my mom. Yeah, I saw across the streets from time to time many Brazil supporters walking the sidewalks with their yellow jerseys, some even chanting old rhythms to cheer each other up. Streets were so unusually empty from cars it looked like a post-apocalyptic movie with a few pedestrians around. Eventually, we had finally reached our destination. I looked around this so familiar place that I often visit every weekend for sleepovers. I head towards the doorbell. I could hear music playing in the background. I gently pressed a small trinket next to the main door, instantly followed by a loud and noisy bell coming from inside. Yet, no one was coming to open the door. I wait, and within that waiting, I thought to myself, did they forget about me? There's no way. After waiting and ringing the bell multiple times, my closest friend opens the door and instantly says, I'm so sorry. I had heard the doorbell, but the dominoes match we're playing was so intense. I replied with a quick laugh and entered the house. As soon as I walk in, all of my friends greet me with joy and surprise, as they had never seen my face around at events like this. We walked towards the pool my friend had in his backyard, and I sensed a strong smell coming from it. It was vivid and delicious. I knew it was barbecue. We sit down and have food. The game was about to start, so we finish up quickly and sit on the couches facing this massive TV. I am certain that was a delicious and possibly my quickest lunch ever eaten in my life. Me and my friends were getting ready to watch the long-awaited game, Brazil against Chile. We all stand up and put our hands against our chests while the national anthem was hitting its initial notes. Adrenaline rushed through my skin as we sang the anthem alongside the TV. I felt like I was at the stadium at the moment, even though I was only in a room of a handful of friends. The referee flips the coin to decide which team will possess the ball first. Brazil won it. From there, I was already so excited, even though the game didn't just start. Now, all we needed was the ball to be placed in the center of the field. The room gave out this vibe of suspense and enthusiasm at the same time. Looking at the crowd, there was a sea of yellow jerseys composed of Brazil's fans, and here and there, some Chile fans, all chanting to cheer the teams up. We sat at the couch, outranting possible scores, 2-1, 3-1, they all said. But for some reason, my thoughts about the end were not the greatest. In fact, my hopes for this game had come to the nightmares of any soccer fan, penalties. That one moment that makes a whole country shiver of fear after already suffering from the intensity of the 90 minutes of a standard match. I remember watching those 90 minutes prior to the end decision. Many fouls, hard work, and sweat had come from the players. And I booing the screen every time the referee made a bad call, even though I didn't understand anything that was happening. Suddenly, Chile manages to work its way through our defense and score a goal. I remember I almost entered a state of sadness after receiving that goal, as well as all of my friends. After contemplating for a moment, we raised our heads and believed in the victory we could possibly conquer. Later on, one of Brazil's players scored a beautiful free kick goal. We cheered the whole country up and united as one. We cheered so much I could feel the ground beneath my feet shaking as we jumped and shouted. Now the game was tied. One single play could change my mood and literally everything. Consequently, the referee had finally called the end of the 90 minutes, and the moment I feared the most had finally came. Penalties are a roller coaster of emotions, and just seeing the ball being put down right in front of the goal already got me on my nerves. We all immediately got up and hugged each other facing the TV. The first player comes in, Brazil takes it. The time of the approach and the kick may have taken 10 seconds, but for me, it took years. First ball inside the net. We scream and shout, chanting out the window, together with the rest of the country. The opposing team comes for the kick. Inside the net once again. Grieving silence now takes place in the room, compared to 5 minutes ago when we were happy and enthusiastic. More and more kicks were being taken right there in front of me, and I was riding a plane heading to nowhere, with only my emotions guiding the way. I never would have thought I would go through something like that before. The sensation gave my stomach butterflies and my throat was starting to get dry. Cold sweat was starting to drip from the sides of my smooth 12-year-old face. Towards the end of the long disputed penalties, Brazil was tied with Chile on the penalties, whom had missed one of the 5 total kicks. Just one strike from Neymar would define who was the winner. Me and my friends were in complete silence. We looked at each other in the eyes, deciding whether we should prepare to party or to cry, since Neymar was not doing his greatest during the match. Looking at the TV once again, I see Neymar giving the ball a soft kiss and placing it on the ground. The game just needed one more step to finish, the final strike. We all looked concerned as he carefully contacted the ball and guided it towards the top left corner. The net switch shook the whole room as well as the whole country. We cheered and screamed. I was running out of breath from the intense shouts coming from my young voice. I couldn't believe we had finally won. I had never been so proud of my life. I remember later on that day, as I went to bed, I looked up at the ceiling and thought how the brand new experience made me realize how. At first, I was never into any kind of sports at all. Now there I was, celebrating alongside my friends about a bunch of men who I've never even heard of that had just won a game of the World Cup.